What is up, guys? Welcome back to another AB video, and today we are going to be continuing the brawler guides. And as you can probably tell by the title, we are going to be looking at Mortis. We're going to be looking at his best game modes, just like the Jesse guide, and overall just some basic tips that is just going to help you gain trophies and win a lot more. But before we get into that, I do want to give a huge shout out to Gravity James, My Strudel, Ducke, Coleman, Aspect, and Cheeseburglar. I would never have been able to do this without them, and it's gonna be great, and let's get right into it. So like always, we are going to be looking at the overview first before we get into the tier list. So as you can see, we do have Top Hat Mortis. He is a dashing assassin who is a mythic, and he dashes forward with each swipe of his shovel. As his super attacks, he sends a cloud of bats to damage enemies and heal himself. And he does have Coiled Snake and Creepy Harvest for his star powers. He has 5,320 HP, very fast movement speed. Attack is Shovel Swing, where he dashes forward with a sharp swing of his shovel, creating business opportunities for himself. It has 1,250 damage, just like his super, with a with a short range and a very slow reload. And as you can see, his super is Lifeblood, and it has 1,260 damage and a very long range. So yeah, he has a 2 out of 5 damage, a 3 out of 5 defense, and a 4 out of 5 utility. And yeah, that is going to be his overall stat sheet, and let's get into that. So starting off with his very best mode, we are going to have Gem Grab in the A tier. Now, the reason I put him in the A tier is because he is a great aggro brawler, and he excels in keeping away the enemy brawlers and taking out squishy throwers or just any long range brawlers on a tanky or wally map. And I'm just gonna say, I did mention that he is aggro. Please do not play him as a gem grab role. He's not good at carrying gems, and you do not want to be able to pick up those gems, because then you aren't going to be able to go in and take out enemies, and it's gonna put your team at a huge disadvantage. But coming off from that, I would say he's good for last second gem carrying, because if your gem carry does accidentally die, which you don't want to have to plan for that, but if that does happen, you are going to be able to take the gems from your gem carrier if he does die, and then you can just run away and keep that countdown so that you could potentially win and just run around and bait the enemies so that they won't be able to chase you. But I wouldn't say that he's S tier, mainly because he gets hard countered by a lot of range brawlers and a lot of tanks, which makes him vulnerable and a lot of open maps as well. So that's probably why he's going to be getting the S tier rank. Next up, we do have Brawl Ball, which is highly debatable, but this tier list is my opinion, so please don't roast me in the comment section. But overall, this is the competitive tier list, and most inexperienced players won't know how to play Mortis. So this is my opinion, and the reason I put him here mainly is because he's a great ball carrier. He can dribble, he can get around enemies, but you do need to be able to look for those openings so that you can score. And remember that you don't want to be too aggro. You might want to, instead of ball carrying the whole time, you might want to go for brawlers. But Mortis in this game mode is really good at ball carrying, like I mentioned before, and he can also take out squishy brawlers. He's good at dribbling, and especially with his super, he can even do that Coiled Snake dash dribble. And I'm not sure if many of you know that, but I will put a clip of that. And since you're ball carrying, you do need a lot of teammates to back you up and make up for that damage that you're not going to be able to provide, because you're always going to have that ball. So you do need a good team comp, good teammates. And additionally, it does look really cool if you can pull off that trick shot. So that's something that he's got going for him. And once again, I would recommend Coiled Snake, because it does let you do that super trick shot thing. But that is going to be Brawl Ball, and let's move on. So in the B tier, we do have Bounty, which the main reason he's in here is because he is a great dashing assassin, and he can really take out those short range or long range throwers. And overall, he's a great sneaky brawler that is able to give your team a big star advantage, especially since he can get that original star in the start of the match. So yeah, that is going to be Bounty, and I think that we're going to leave him in the B tier because he could be B+, but he's not that great on open maps. So yeah, that is Bounty. Let's move on to the next one. So moving on to solos, we do have it in the C+ tier, and we also do have duos in the C tier, and it's not that big of a difference except that in solos he's great at running around and escaping certain death, but he's not able to get cubes. I mean, there are so many other brawlers that can just walk up to him and steal his cubes, so the only thing he's really good at is just running around and escaping certain death, because he's not going to be able to win a lot of battles, and he's going to get easily pinched, which is a huge disadvantage. But I think he is slightly better in solos, because in duos he doesn't have to wait for his teammate to come around and help him, and he can just sprint and hide in bushes and maybe ambush a few squishy brawlers. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's that great in showdown, so that's why he's going to stay in the C tier or C+ tier for both of them. Next in the D tier we do have Siege, and we put him in the D tier mainly because he's pretty much bad at offense, bad at defense, and the only thing he's really good at is getting bolts. He can't kill bots, he can't deal damage to the Ike without dying, and yeah, that's pretty much it. However, one tip that I do have for you is that if the enemy does win a siege, I would recommend that you go ahead and just target the enemy team. Don't go for the robot, because you can't do anything to the robot. But yeah, that is going to be Siege, and let's get on to the last game mode. For the last game mode, we do have Heist, and it's pretty obvious why you shouldn't play him in Heist. He's got terrible damage, he basically gets countered by every single tank, and the only thing that he can really do is kill throwers. He can't deal damage to the safe, and you just don't want to play him in Heist. He's a terrible option. Just please don't, and there's so many tanks in Heist, and your reload is so slow, you don't even have any damage, like I mentioned before. So just overall, he's terrible in this game mode, and I would not recommend playing him. That is going to conclude our game mode, and now let's just look at a few basic tips. And the first one that I have for you guys is your basic attack. And what you want to do is you want to know how much damage each swipe does, so that you'll know when to go in, you'll know when to take them out, you'll know how much damage your super does, so that you can ambush medium health to squishy brawlers such as Tick, Jesse, Dynamite, etc. You guys know what I mean. But you do want to make sure that you are aiming all those shots. You don't want to be going in and auto aiming, because you might end up dashing 3 times into a wall, like I will show you in a clip here. But anyway, another thing that his basic attack is very unique, because it's used for running, attacking, movement overall. And if you're in a tight spot, you can dash away like Gravity James just did here. So yeah, it is very useful for that. And if you're in a tight spot and you have a lot of bounty stars, you can dash away. And coming off from that, another thing is that you can even use it to progress further in the map, so that you can get up there and help your teammates. And remember that you are really good at targeting squishy and range brawlers, so you definitely want to be looking up for them. Such as here, he's going after Mr. P. And yeah, that's basically it. Oh yeah, and just try, your super is also really important too, so you want to be able to charge up that super as fast as you can. But that is going to conclude the first tip, and let's get on to the second one. And for our next tip, we are going to be talking about Mortis's super. And the main thing that you want to use is with his super is that definitely you're going to want to aim it, but even more importantly, you're going to want to wait for it to be charged up. You're going to want to aim it, and then you're going to want to hit as many people as you can. It's really important to hit as many people as you can, because it's going to maximize damage, healing, and you're going to be able to charge up that super even more. So it's very important that you aim it. You don't want to be auto-aiming this super. And additionally, you are going to want to throw your super first, and then this is kind of a tip. I don't see a lot of people doing it, but you want to throw it, and then you want to dash into the enemy. The reason for this is because once you throw it, that is going to make you able to collect your super once again, so that you can recharge up your super. It's a very important thing, and you have to be using this, because it's a great tip, and honestly, a lot of people don't know about this. But another thing that you want to do is that, remember how I said that you don't want to auto emit? Well, that's not particularly true, because if you're in close quarters and you're about to die, you're really low health and you really need that extra 900, extra 1000 health, you can auto emit to get one hit off, and then you can dash away to survive. That is acceptable. And because supers are such a huge part of Mortis, you do want to save it. You don't want to use it too aggressively. And keep in mind that his super does also go through walls. So like you can't use it to snipe someone from behind a wall. That's very important, and I've used it many times to kill a gem carrier in gem grab. But yeah, that is going to be most of the tips that I have for using your super. So yeah, just basically use it at the right time, save it, and yeah, that's just about it. Hit as many people as you can. But let's go on to how to use him in his movement. Okay, so like other brawlers, you do want to be juking around with him, but even more so with Mortis, because he's got that really special dashing ability, and he can juke. He has, like I said, he does have very fast movement speed, and he's one of the brawlers that it's really fun to play him and annoy other brawlers, because if you can juke correctly, they're not going to be able to hit you. Just like, even as you're watching this showdown gameplay, I am able to survive because I'm just juking around, and I am able to stay passive and use the cactus, use walls, use bushes to my advantage so that they can't take me out. But like I mentioned, Mortis does have very slow reload, so you do want to make sure that you're using your juking shots to a minimal so that you can get the most out of it, because he does have slow reload. And another huge tip that I have is that when you're juking, you can juke in one direction, and then you can use your basic attack to dash in the other direction to confuse them even more so. So that's a really great thing that you can use. So for example, I'm juking to the left, but at a slight second after, I go ahead and dash to the right. So then they won't know where you're going, and they won't be able to hit you as easy. And so yeah, just make them waste their shots. Be aware of how many shots they're using so that later on you can go in, dash on them, and take them out. So like if a cult spams all 3 shots, you can dash in and you know that he has no more shots to kill you. That's one thing that you need to be aware of. But yeah, that is going to be his juking movement thing, and now let's just move on to the star powers. So concerning his star power, I would say that pretty much in every single opportunity, you are going to be wanting to use Coiled Snake, which is the reason for this being that it's basically giving you a fourth ammo slot, or a doubled ammo slot. It's very, like, this range, it's incredible. Like, you can go in, you can dash on people, take them out so much easier. You can intercept balls, you can dribble with your super. It's a great star power, and before it got nerfed, it was arguably the best star power in the game, except for Band-Aid at that time at least. But yeah, it is an amazing star power. However, while I'm saying this, Creepy Harvest is also a great star power. You might want to be using that one if there's a lot of bushes and walls. But other than that, yeah, I would just recommend go with Coiled Snake. But they are both incredible star powers, and the healing from Creepy Harvest is very impactful, and definitely not a bad one either. But that is going to wrap up all of our tips, and I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope these tips helped you. But before we get into the outro, I do want to remind you that we are doing a giveaway where if you comment within the first hour of this video, you are going to be entered in a giveaway to get on my friends list. So I want to play with these viewers, so go ahead, comment. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed. And this took an insane amount of time, and I honestly, without help, it would have taken 10 times longer. So yeah, thanks to all the guys that helped out. And yeah, so remember to comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.